Am I the asshole for refusing to let my brother bring his girlfriend to Thanksgiving after she disrespected my wife? I, 31M, am married to Lily, 30F. My brother Josh, 29M, recently started dating Lindsay, 27F, and while she's been polite at family events, Lily feels Lindsay has made some passive-aggressive comments. For example, at a recent barbecue, Lindsay said it was selfish that Lily and I weren't planning to have kids anytime soon. Lily felt uncomfortable, but I didn't say anything at the time. Another incident happened at a family dinner when Lindsay remarked, "I'm surprised you two are so happy without kids. You must be really good at being selfish." Lily was hurt by that comment, and it made her feel like Lindsay was judging our life choices. Most recently, at a birthday party, Lindsay made a comment about Lily's career, saying, "It's cute that you're working part-time with no kids while Josh and I are really focusing on our careers." Lily was annoyed, but didn't say anything because she didn't want to start drama. Thanksgiving is at our house this year, and when Josh asked if he could bring Lindsay, I told him I'd prefer if she didn't come. I explained that some of her comments had made Lily feel disrespected, and I didn't want that to ruin the holiday. Josh got upset and said I was being petty. He argued that I was overreacting and that Lindsay was just being honest, but I stood my ground. Now Josh says he won't come if Lindsay isn't invited, and my parents are caught in the middle. My mom thinks I'm being too harsh, but I feel like I'm just standing up for my wife. Am I the asshole for refusing to let my brother bring his girlfriend to Thanksgiving?
Alright, let's dive into the next story and see what else Reddit has in store for us.
Am I the asshole for making my lesbian daughter's children blankets? Throwaway account. Basically I, 52F, have 3 daughters, and 30F, Carrie, 26F, and Jane, 20F. All fake names. When all my girls turned 18, I made them a special blanket. I then made 3 swaddle blankets out of the same materials for their future children. Carrie told me not to because she didn't want kids. I found out later it was because she's a lesbian. I said okay, but made them just in case. Earlier this year, Carrie married her lovely wife, Rory, 28F. Her amazing daughter Diane, 5F, is my 3rd grandchild. I approached Rory and asked if I could give her one of the blankets I made for Carrie's kids, or if she wanted me to make one special for her out of the materials I used to make their wedding living room blanket. I always give these out on the day they're born, so for Diane I plan on giving it on her birthday and was explaining that to her. She told me to ask Diane. I did, and Carrie overheard. I found out that she's pregnant because she was crying and yelling that I didn't respect her wishes, so how can she trust me with her baby? I'm just so confused and hurt. I was trying to do something nice for all my girls, and then my sweet Diane. Instead of being happy I was cautious. Carrie is threatening to go low contact because I don't respect her and am obviously homophobic because how else would I have thought she'd get pregnant, which is very confusing. Rory is telling me it's hormones and that Carrie is emotional because of how hard it was to get pregnant. I didn't know they had been trying, and that she's afraid she's going to lose it. Am I the asshole? I was trying to be kind. I wasn't being homophobic or trying to be disrespectful. Edit. I don't know if it's relevant, but I still have material from the blankets for patching, so I was planning on adding to Diane's to make it big enough to use, or I was going to let her have it fit her baby dolls. That's what my other 2 granddaughters do now that it's too small for them. Edit 2. I didn't know Carrie was a lesbian until she was 23. I had made all the blankets by the time she was 19.
Ready for more? Here's another wild one that'll blow your mind.
Am I the asshole for refusing to sleep in my boyfriend's dirty bed? Last night I, 41F, had planned to stay the night at my boyfriend's place, 39, who lives about an hour away from me. We went out to watch a band play, had a good time, and grabbed some food on the way back. My BF knows that I'm particular about the bed, and I almost always change his bed sheets when I come over, because he rarely changes them. Well, last night, when I was going to change the bed, he wouldn't let me. He had a dirty, ripped-up fitted sheet that wasn't even stretched over the entire mattress, leaving half of it bare, and the side that was covered was full of big holes revealing the dirty mattress underneath. I told him there was no way I was sleeping in a bed like that and asked him to let me fix it. It would have taken me 3 minutes, and he didn't have to do anything. He said the bed was fine, turned out the lights and hopped in. I continued to beg him to let me put fresh sheets on and threatened to drive home, but he said I was being ridiculous. I asked if I could get a blanket to lie on the couch, and he threw a dirty stained mattress cover at me and said, "Use this." So I left and drove all the way home, at 2 a.m. We had planned to go to his family's the next morning, but I told him as I was leaving that I wasn't driving all the way back. The next morning he was calling me asking why I wasn't at his family's as planned. I told him I wasn't driving all the way back after having to drive home last night. He said I was rude for not going to his family's and is now mad at me.
If you thought that was crazy, wait until you hear this next one.
Am I the asshole for not apologizing to my brother after he missed my birthday? I, 30 female, have always loved celebrating my birthday. My parents were not amazing parents, but my mom always made sure on our birthdays a big deal was made. I got married quite young, 21, and didn't have a lot of money at the time, so our wedding was very cheap, it was even BYO. I still loved it but always regretted not being able to pay for a big meal for everyone. So for my 30th, because I'm in a way better financial position, I wanted to do something where I paid for everyone's food and drink and we all had fun. I told everyone about it months in advance as I had to prepay for the venue and let them know about catering. It got to a month before my birthday and my brother, 26 male, hadn't RSVP'd yet, so I messaged him to ask. He said that he wouldn't be coming as him and his girlfriend had just bought a puppy and could not leave the puppy unattended that long. I responded asking him if there was no one else that could look after the dog, to which he responded the dog was his responsibility, not anyone else's. I explained to him how upset I was as it felt like he wasn't even trying to come. He said he didn't see what the big deal was and I always make him uncomfortable by guilting him about stuff like this. For context, I have gotten mad at him before for not attending my son's birthday party and not letting me know he wasn't coming. We argued a bit about other history that's not relevant. What made me mad more than anything was his complete inability to empathize. He made me feel like I was being the difficult one for being upset with him. 5 years ago I would have lost it and told him to get out of my life forever, but I've done a lot of therapy in that time and I simply said I wasn't going to let him make me feel bad for having a valid response to my own brother missing an important birthday to me. I said I needed a break from talking to him so I could enjoy my birthday and I loved him. We left it at that. It's been 6 months, it is now coming up to my son's birthday and I sent him an invite as I don't believe in withholding my kids from someone because I'm mad. My parents did that a lot. He hasn't responded, and when my mom asked him if he was coming he said he was waiting on a conversation with me first. In my family that means I will be the one that has to call and he will expect me to apologize for being upset with him or he won't come to my son's birthday. He is more stubborn than I am, so it will have to be the way it goes for him to come. Am I the asshole if I just don't apologize and continue the stalemate?
Here's the next story that will keep you on the edge of your seat.
Am I the asshole for eating meat in front of my vegan date? Here's the backstory. I, F32, met this absolutely amazing guy, M35. Funny, brilliant, intelligent, and vegan, so no meat, no fish, no cheese. On our third date, he brought it up and explained his convictions, etc. About an hour later, we decided to order. He chose the vegetarian dish on the menu. I went for the burger, which, to be fair, was dripping with cheese. From my perspective, he's free to eat what he wants. But I have no intention of becoming vegan or even vegetarian myself. So, I simply ordered what I felt like eating at that moment. A few days later, we talked again over text, and he called me out on it. For him, it was a real lack of tact on my part and pretty disrespectful of his convictions, which he had shared just an hour before we ordered. Now I'm feeling a bit confused about the situation. I like him, but I don't really see where the disrespect lies in my actions. What's your take on this? Please don't respond if you're anti-vegan. This isn't about criticizing him specifically, but rather about evaluating my own reaction during that dinner. Thanks. Edit, just a clarification, of course he never asked me to become vegetarian myself one day. In this case, it's the fact that I ate meat in front of him, right after he talked about it and considering we might potentially kiss afterward. I'll add that, in the end, he did pay for both our meals.
Here's the next story that will keep you on the edge of your seat.
Am I the asshole for telling my pregnant friend I can't stand her complaining anymore? I want to start off by saying that I, F29, am 7 months pregnant myself. My friend Cassie, 25F, is also pregnant, and about 7 weeks ahead of me. At first it was awesome being pregnant together, we'd vent about things, talk about how excited we are, plan mommy-to-be dates, etc. But now her attitude has been rubbing me the wrong way and I can't stand talking to her about it anymore. She's gone from occasional venting to texting me upwards of 5 times a day about every horrible symptom she has. What bothers me is that I also have a lot of the same irritating pregnancy symptoms, but when I try to sympathize she pulls the, "oh just wait until you're at ______ weeks," card as if it's some strange competition. So I dropped the sympathy angle and decided to just send her positive messages instead. But she totally sidesteps my attempts at positivity or my suggestions and complains about something else. For example, if I suggested a medicine I took for heartburn she'd reply, "no, I'll just throw it up." If I tried to suggest that she take some time off work because she's clearly unhappy, she'd reply, "I can't, I don't have enough sick days." Which is fair, I guess, but it gets old very quick being shot down over and over. She ignores all my upbeat messages about staying strong and that she's almost there and that she can do it and replies with, "I'm miserable," instead. What pushed me over the edge is she also stopped asking me about my pregnancy completely. Never checks in with me, never asks about my baby, and when I try to share anything positive she hardly acknowledges it. I went from feeling like we were in this together to feeling like she is the only pregnant one. I finally snapped when she texted me about her swollen ankles for the 20th time and said that I'm already anxious enough with my own due date creeping up and that her negativity is ruining my own pregnancy. I told her that I'm not feeling great either, but I'm not sending her lists of ailments every morning and I suggested she start venting to her husband instead. I obviously hurt her feelings, she read it and hasn't spoken to me since. I feel completely justified, but my husband said I shouldn't have said anything, that she's clearly struggling more, and that I should just basically treat her with pity because she's so unhappy. I think she's a total downer and I don't need that energy weighing me down. But now I'm wondering if I'm being insensitive because she is so close to giving birth and clearly having more complications than I am. Am I the asshole?
If you thought that was crazy, wait until you hear this next one.
Am I the asshole for telling my older sister that I don't want to babysit her anymore? English is not my first language. So I, F18, have a sister, 21. 4 years ago she started to have issues with her thyroid. I don't know the details, but I know that she often passed out in school, as a result of her medical condition. She developed a deep depression and even when her condition got better after a surgery her depression remained. Even when she got a therapist. She graduated in 2023 and has been at home ever since. She doesn't work and doesn't seek further education. She just sits in her bed all day. She also refuses to do any chores, except for feeding some of our pets. I graduated in July 2024. I am also still at home, but I work a part-time job and I am studying to get my driver's license. I plan on going to university in late spring. But even with my jobs I spend more time at home than I used to. That's why I took over most of the chores. My father works full-time and doesn't come home before 7 p.m. My mother used to work full-time but now reduced her hours to help out with my sister. I also have to take care of her. I have to get her to wake up, that sometimes takes 2-3h, I have to make sure that she eats properly, I try to motivate her to do at least some chores and I have to check on her frequently. She also tries to get my attention for hours by stealing my things and running off, by jumping on my bed and refusing to leave, by smearing my door with soap and toothpaste, by waking up my hamster, etc. I normally react to all that calmly, because I know how she really feels. But I started to get more angry with time, because it's just incredibly childish and I don't know how to stop her. She also doesn't leave the house alone. When she wants to go shopping I have to go with her and she constantly begs for me to do things with her. Most of the times I give in. Her depression is very predictable. A few weeks everything goes great and then after some time, mostly before doctor's appointments/meetings with her therapist, she has a breakdown. She was sent to 2 clinics for that and when it happened again a week ago she was sent to a 3rd. Monday she got in and Tuesday she was in tears, already demanding to leave. Not a week later they are legally not allowed to keep her any longer. This happened before. She shows everyone how bad she has it, then everyone moves earth and sun for her to get proper help and there she refuses to get any help and just demands to leave as soon as possible. My mom and I have to pick her up today from the last clinic. She called me earlier telling me the news. And I told her that I don't support her decision and that her behavior is unfair for anyone who worries about her and tries to help her. She tells me that this time it won't be like the other times, but she promised that multiple times already and the next time she won't get into a better clinic. We got into an argument and a few minutes in I got really angry and told her that I don't want to babysit her anymore. Now she's calling me an a-hole. So am I the asshole?
Here's the next story that will keep you on the edge of your seat.
Am I the asshole? Me and wife moved into grandma's, now she's selling the house. Over a year ago my wife lost her grandpa to dementia. Her grandparents had been married for 60 years, and understandably anxiety and nervousness about being alone can torment a person especially in their time of grief. To help out her grandmother my father-in-law renovated the basement and made it a studio apartment so to speak. In the time frame of the renovation family members would stay a night away from their own loved ones and spend it with grandma to ease anxiety and loneliness. My wife and myself talked with her grandma about how moving in would go and that yes we will still spend time with her during the week for our weekly dinner and time on the weekend, but we are a young couple, we like spending time together. There are hobbies we have that we want to do and we aren't moving in to be upstairs with her 24/7, we are there to ease her anxiety about nighttime. 3 months into the renovation a family friend moved in as he was on the split from his partner. He spent a majority of his time when not working in the living room watching TV with her. Recently he's gotten back in his feet and has moved into his own place. This is where the problems have started. Since him moving out we have to pick up his upstairs time. My wife reminded her grandma of our agreement upon move-in of the 2 nights a week upstairs visiting and dinner. Lately her grandma has become extremely passive-aggressive towards me and my wife about our hobby and that it's an extreme waste of time. Now her grandma is saying she's going to her lawyer and is going to sell the house so she can go back to her hometown 2 hours away from where she's at now and live in a retirement home because we don't spend enough time with her. We aren't the only relatives around. My wife is one of 4 siblings and her dad, who all visit her once a week and her dad spends 3 nights a week. While my father-in-law has a sibling who live in the same town as us and visits once a month if that. The other 2 brothers live out of state and have proven that they don't care about their mother. We pay her grandma rent every month and whether we order out or cook dinner we ask if she would like some or leave a helping of it in her fridge for her to eat later. Are me and my wife the assholes for not spending more time upstairs and causing her grandma to possibly sell her house?
Hope you had a blast. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and join the Red Monkey family. Until next time, stay curious and keep exploring. Ooh, ah, ah.